welcome to Playing by Ear. I'm Doug.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Amy.
Each episode of this podcast, one of us or a guest will bring an album they love to be presented and analyzed track by track to explore what makes it special and why they think it's not just worth playing, but replaying. This episode, I'm bringing Led Zeppelin's untitled fourth album, generally referred to as 4. When we met last time, I kind of had two criterion to get into why I picked this. And my criteria was I wanted to do just a huge, mega, like legendary album. And two, I wanted something that kind of fit with the theme month happening over on Nostalgia Arcanum, which is Tolkien. So there's really only one album where those two things intersect quite like this. So that's why I picked 4. And of course, as we'll get into, this is an album I have a whole lot of affection for. It's very special, and it's on the Mount Rushmore of rock and roll for a reason. So, but I thought it'd be interesting to see how we approached it. Even though, as I said last time, the jury is not out on this album. Its reputation is sacrosanct, but it's still worth taking a look at and giving it a fresh look. So that's kind of why I picked it. And so now I'll hand off to you, Kyle, to start discussing our personal experience with this album.
Yeah, you picked one of the biggest albums of all time. As far as album sales, I'm looking at this thing, and I don't know how updated this is, but according to just albums sold in the U.S., it looks like the 5th underneath Hotel California, Back in Black, Thriller, and then the Eagles' Greatest Hits. 24 million copies. You did pick a monster. We're not joking around here. So personal experience with this album, I think this is probably the Led Zeppelin album that I have known the most. I've probably known this since the either late 80s, probably early 90s when I was just a little teenager. Of course, Stairway to Heaven's on this album, so that's probably the main reason why I knew it at first. And then eventually became a Led Zeppelin fan, kind of went through all of it. We've done podcasts on them before. But this is going to be really cool to hone in on this album because it is so special. It's iconic, really. I think I really started getting into this. I've always liked this album, but I really started dissecting this album like maybe 2-3 years ago as I kind of went back through the Led Zeppelin catalog. And yeah, this still holds its ground. There's some epic shit on here. Long, epic, crazy shit. So, yep. Yeah, I'll hand it over to you, Amy.
So my personal experience with this album is pretty minimal, honestly. After listening to it, I had some memory or knowledge of some of the songs on there, but this is not an album that I've heard in its entirety ever. I don't know how it never came to me. This wasn't something Kyle shared with me. This wasn't something our parents were listening to, and so it just kind of fit into that spot where it just passed me by. So I know some of the songs on it, but this was really my first experience listening to the entire thing.
Okay. So my experience with Led Zeppelin, grew up in a house where we listened to a fair amount of classic rock, so Led Zeppelin was sort of around, but it wasn't until high school that I started to really drill down and feel like I need to learn this classic rock as part of just art history. I just need to know this stuff. And I remember my first memory of it was there's that scene in The Client where the kid in the movie's he's real into Led Zeppelin, and he's trying to act like he's cool compared to Susan Sarandon, who has to essentially babysit him or keep him alive until he can testify. And she bonds with him over Led Zeppelin, and because he tries to quiz her on the names of the albums, and she says, "Oh well, there's 1, 2, 3, but the 4th one is not actually called 4. That's just people call it 4. It doesn't have a title." And so that was kind of my first dawning awareness of this album. And then I got a Led Zeppelin Greatest Hits that I remember just listening to, I sitting in the high school parking lot with a Discman because it was the mid '90s, and having this play all the time. And to give you an idea of how influential this album is, in the greatest hits package, I think 7 out of the 8 songs from the album were on it. So so I knew almost every single one of these songs already before I actually said, well, let me hear the actual album, and then I just heard them in the correct order, plus that 8th song. And this album has just always stayed with me. It's just because, again, like I said, I use the phrase Mount Rushmore. Like Led Zeppelin are, these paragons of rock music, and you look at their catalog and like it's just heavy, just hitters all the way through. I mean, there's a reason this is one of the most influential bands of all time. And Amy, I know this isn't necessarily your thing, but one of the things we bonded over when we first met was like you love hair metal, like you love Warrant and all these bands kind of like that. And it's like, do you think you'd get these screaming vocals out of these guys if it wasn't they all just grew up idolizing Robert Plant? It's all just imitations of Robert Plant and these guys. And so I've every time I hear any kind of song after this, it's like you can't help but make the comparison to like, okay, you must have studied at the feet of Led Zeppelin. So
yeah. There's definitely like the whole Beatles thing too, right? Because Beatles are obviously iconic in their own kind of like their songwriting way, but the Led Zeppelin, I feel like you're not going to get those same kind of Love Me Do or even something that George Harrison. You're not going to get that kind of stuff because you're going to get more intricate, more guitar playing. They're very focused on their instruments, like the musicianship in this band with Bonham and Page. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, they're all virtuosos at what they do. All 4 of them, and as we talked about, if you want to hear like extra Led Zeppelin talk, as Kyle mentioned, we did an episode on Led Zeppelin on Nostalgia Arcanum, and like one of the things you realize is like they just came out fully formed. Like the songs on One could stand alongside the songs on Physical Graffiti and their later albums. Like they knew what they were as artists, and they hit on this sound, and they were off and running. And so by the time you get to 4, like they really
got their stride,
mastered
right?
it. Yeah. So, all right. So that is our personal experience. So it's time for overall thoughts and impressions. So, Kyle, you're up first.
I mean, this is rock. This isn't going to be. I'm not going to say too much negative about this. I mean, it's overall impressions. I've heard this before, so I didn't really have to listen again too many times since we picked this a couple weeks ago. I think I probably listened twice since then went through a couple songs. It still holds up. This is still a really great album. I think that there's definitely high points and then lower points, if you will. I don't know that we can really call any songs low, but I mean, there's definitely highs and lows and mediums. So it's going to be fun to go through that because it's really cool to dissect an album like this, is to think about a song like Misty Mountain Hop and think, wow, how do I even rate this song? Like, what am I putting it up against? Am I thinking about Stairway to Heaven that's right next to it? Am I thinking about other Led Zeppelin songs? Am I thinking about Warrant songs? Like, it's like all over the place. So it was really difficult, fun and easy in a way that, because I've heard it so many times before, but to actually get a number for all of these tracks was a little bit of a task.
All right, Aim?
Well, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, but I'm coming at this from a little bit of a different angle in such that, okay, first of all, somebody referenced, Amy, you like hair metal. So, obviously, do you even know where these, the influence of that is? And really, I like ballads. So I like hair metal power ballads. So, that right there is kind of an indication of the kind of things that I like. And so, when you're talking about like, oh, this is great, they're so good at their instruments and, they're musicians. And I'm a person who likes like melodies and vocals and like focus on like lyrics. And so I don't really understand how to explain it other than like, I don't appreciate, I obviously listen to these things and I'm like, oh, that's an amazing like guitar riff, or that's really cool how they layered the pianos on this song. But like, I don't have that appreciation for it like you guys do. And so when I'm scoring these things, you guys are going to be a little bit disappointed because I'm not scoring them where you are. You're both laughing. But that's just, maybe everybody likes them and these are iconic things, but music is just such a personal experience. And so while I appreciate the musicianship of the album and there's definitely good parts to it, I am not in love with this album. I mean, that's just how it is. And, you know, I was listening to this in the car with Celeste, and she was like, do you like it? And she was asking, she's our 9-year-old. We were talking about it a little bit, and I was like, you know what? This album to me is cauliflower. So, you know, it's a vegetable. Some people love it. I just happen to not really like dig it. It's just not for me. It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean, you know, my opinion matters, but it's a personal thing. It's a cauliflower album. So I was trying to figure out a way to say it that was still like respectful and appreciative of music, but I mean, and I'm trying to like analyze it from a standpoint of just, it's not just like I don't like it. I can't quite put my finger on what it is about it that I just don't connect with. I think it's a little bit of like the jamminess of it. Some of the songs are a little bit longer and like they go off on like musical tangents. I don't connect with that so much. Most of the songs I like are like lyric driven, vocal driven, and so you guys hate me. So those extended long tracks with those like intros and outros of just people riffing and, you know, that meh. I like his vocals. There's parts of it that I like more than others, but it just doesn't fully land for me. And so I have some songs that I really enjoyed on this. I have some that I don't, and then a lot of them are just kind of middle of the road for me.
Okay. Where I land on it is I wanted to try and look at this really critically and not just be kind of like, oh, it's a legend, you know, and it's not unassailable. There are things on here to point to and say, well, this isn't perfect, but as like there's a reason that this is probably cited as their most important album, not just because it has Stairway on it, which, you know, is, you know, if you look at lists of the greatest rock songs of all time, it's usually at number 1. You know, I mean, that there is like it's like a legend starts to kind of calcify around this album, where it's just like, that's it. Like, it's, you know, it is, you know, set in stone. This is, you know, some sort of rock perfection. But like I said, it's so hard to listen to any kind of album that's metal or hard rock after this and not, again, see the connective tissue to it. And I think that's what kind of like I come away with this is going like, this is an important album. This album needs to exist for, you know, so much that comes after it. And so I really enjoyed listening to it. You know, all the way through. There are some, you know, absolute monster bangers on this. They're not all perfect, but like, I just like, this isn't a band that like my appreciation for just grows and grows. And I think we just have different musical DNA. I think Kyle and I are closer in terms of just like, I just want to rock. Like these things go to 11. Like give me it, you know, give me something hard and like, you know, just pound my soul out with rock and roll. Like just give me, if Jack Black is screaming it on a mountaintop, then, you know, it's probably in the right place. That doesn't mean it's the only genre I like, by the way. I know the last album I picked was also a rock album. You're going to get a lot more interesting, different stuff from me as we go on. I'm going to try and genre hop. But yeah, my overall view of this is still pretty high, even though I'm going to try and be critical where I can. So
yeah, it was tough being critical, but it was kind of worth it. Like stacking these songs up against themselves and really comparing, you know, I don't want to say any songs, but just kind of comparing to it is just a fun process. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you rattled off a few albums that this is with in terms of like the greatest selling albums of all time, and like you could, you know, pick one of those and go like Thriller or whatever and go, yeah, it's Thriller, it's great, it's awesome, everything on it is great, and it's like that's kind of true, but I think there's still value in like thinking about why, you know, let's actually sit down and look at it again, you know, yeah, spend the time caring about it instead of just going like, yep, it's great, awesome, done. You know, so with that, let's get into it. Kyle, you are up first.
All right. So we're going to start off here. We got 8 songs to go through. The first song on the album is Black Dog.
Hey, mama said the way you move gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove. Way you shake that thing gonna make you burn, gonna make you stay.
This song is 455, Page Plant Jones. This was released as a single. This was actually the first single released in 1971. And may I also say that the album was released in 1971, November 8th. So I'm going to get us started and talk about Black Dog. This is a fun one. Before I even look at my notes, we did this on the flagship. We'll call it the flagship podcast, and this was in my top 10. I really love this song. I think I said it on the other podcast, so I'm probably going to be repeating here. So is what it is. The thing about this song that always has gotten me has been the time signature. And hey, Dylan, what's up out there? You kind of helped me because when we actually when we recorded the last podcast, I think Dylan had told me what time it was in, and ever since I listened back to that podcast and thought about it, which was probably over a year ago, I can kind of count this song now. But anyhow, the time signature for the Hey Hey Mama Said the Way You Move, and then when it goes into the lick, that that lick is not standard, it is not in 4/4. It's something like it's in 15/16 or something crazy to where there's one, I think it might be the 17/16, to where there's like one extra beat, and it's really hard to count. And you can seriously play it all over, like as a drummer, I'm a drummer, just playing the beat, because Bonham is just going booms, cha, boom. He's just doing the straight stuff while Page is just wailing, and they do not sound like they're doing the same thing. And I love that because it makes my brain hurt. And I like when my brain hurts because it makes it think. And that's just fun for me as a musician. So there's the time signature. And that's one thing that's really cool about it. And then, of course, it's just amazing how it's the whole back and forth with Plant busting out this vocal and then the music coming in and, sort of the back and forth thing. I'm actually going to look at my notes now. Actually, I already said a lot of it. I like the oh yeah parts when it goes into the breaks. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I would have loved to watch the band play the song live. I don't know that. I'm sure they did.
There's a documentary. I think it's called "The Song Remains the Same." I bet it's on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a documentary. There's one that just came. Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's not on the most recent documentary because I think they stop after like Led Zeppelin 2 or something.
The Song Remains the Same is it's one of the more well-regarded like concert movies.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they play it during that, but there's a good chance.
I would kind of think so. I mean, this is one of their biggest songs. I mean, everyone knows this song. Amy, I'm sure you even heard this song before, right?
Yes.
Yes, you have heard it.
Am I saving my comments? But yeah.
You can save your comments, yeah. I mean, what can I say? This is a banger. I mean, it's hard to really say anything too negative about this song. It's not my favorite song on the album, but I really like it, and I think it has a place in rock and roll history. I feel like this is the kind of song that kids should know. This along with some early, all over Beatles songs. Like, this is just one of those very important songs. Amy?
Okay. So, do you guys think I like this song? I just think it's fun. What do you guys think I think?
No.
I'm going to say your criticism is you're not crazy about the melody, which is just this like what Robert Plant sings. I feel like you're not in love with it.
Okay. So, what do you guys think I scored it at? I'm just curious.
Oh, score.
Yeah.
I would think you scored it still above an 80 because that riff is, I think even you're going to acknowledge, like, that riff is crazy.
And I think you're going to put it in the mid to upper 70s. But
Okay.
we'll get there.
All right. I'm not going to ask this on everyone. I just felt like it would be fun to do it on this one. So I thought, like, this one I really enjoyed. So there. I think it's a really good start off, like, lead off track. It really grabs you right from the beginning. It just starts with vocals, right? Like, nothing behind him. And it's
Almost.
just kind
of... Yeah, you hear, like, a guitar, like, something for just a second, and then Robert
it's
Plant.
just him, right? And I think that's really cool. I mean, obviously he's got these amazing vocals, and I like that it like stands out so strong. This to me kind of feels like anthem-y, like it kind of gets you going. It's kind of like this epic's not the right word because epic has a different meaning in music, but it feels like iconic and amazing. And yeah, I like if you'd said to me, "Hey Amy, have you heard Black Dog by Led Zeppelin?" I'd be like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. But the second I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, I know this song. And at first I was like, okay, this is fine. But the more I listened to it, I really, really like it. I love when anytime the music drops off and you can like really hear his vocals, I'm like really into that. Lyrics on this entire album, I'm going to be honest, I didn't I didn't really dive into them. Like, it just, to me, it was more about the music, honestly. And some of it, like, this one's kind of very obvious. It's just, it wasn't worth diving into them for me. So I didn't. And this one was just kind of like simple and not too much to analyze. I didn't really understand why it was called Black Dog.
The legend is that I believe there was a black dog hanging around the studio when they were recording it. It has nothing to do with the lyrics or anything
good,
else.
because I was like, I don't understand, but I figured you guys would. And anyways, yeah, so this was really a good, strong, great rock song. So it was a good start. So there.
I love this one. This was, as you said, Kyle, this was also in my top 10 list when we did that other episode. I mean, you're right. The lyrics, especially on this song, are pointless. They don't matter. There is this one line. He says, "I don't know, but I've been told a big leg woman ain't got no soul." Like, I'm sure Freddie Mercury and Sir Mix-a-Lot would dare to disagree. I don't know what he's thinking about. None of the lyrics to this matter. And in fact, like you could argue the melody, quote unquote, to the song has nothing to do with Robert Plant. It's Jimmy Page. It's that lick. That lick is out of this world good. And as you said, like the time signature is weird, and he throws in it's that extra thing at the end he throws in because it goes da 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 dum dum. There's like an extra note there that, and then like I love when it like then it's like you've heard it a few times, and then it's like, oh, and there's more. He turns over, it's like, ba da 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 da. Like there's a second like piece to it, and then it loops back into itself again. Like it's one of the best guitar licks of all time. And then there's cool dynamics in the song, as you said, right? He starts out a cappella, then all of a sudden it goes at and it's like it slows down, and then it like boom, hey baby, and he just rips right back into it. Like this is so confident. Like this is just like these four guys going like, yeah, we know we're good at this. It just never ceases to like get my heart rate going. Like it's just so cool. So yeah, one of my favorites in the album. Not a surprise.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead and lay down our ratings. I'm going to go ahead and bust out here with a 93 for Black Dog.
I'm a 90.
I'm also a 93 exactly, Kyle. Wow.
So
Interesting.
random.
Yeah.
I've been sticking to like just like every like 65, 70, 75, 80.
Oh, you're rounding up to fives.
I'm rounding up to the fives.
Okay.
I don't know why. Also, like, I just want to give a disclaimer. I'm not going to be able to go into that music analysis that you guys are. Not on this album.
That's okay.
But I'll share how my initial feelings are about the songs. So.
All right.
Yeah. No, we're having some fun here. We're just throwing out our opinions, and it's nice to have, different feelings, right? Because you're going to get albums that I don't like that you're going to bust out, Amy, when you bust out your Jewel albums. So
it's going to be 5 Jewel albums in a row. We're just going to chronologically go through them.
Oh, all right. All right, listeners, we're jumping on to track number 2 here. So we're going rock and roll. So Rock and Roll was actually the second single. So first two singles. This didn't come out until February of 72, a few months after the album was released. This song is, I think it's actually not quite the shortest, but it's one of the shortest. It's only 3:40. And all four of the guys, Page, Plant, Jones, Bonham, all of them got songwriting credit on this one. So go ahead, Amy.
All right. So this is kind of similar to me to the first track. It's got a really nice little riff. I think it's guitar. I'm not really sure. I also wrote down that I thought this was like kind of country-ish. It had a little twang to it. And there's like some sort of effect on the vocals. I don't know if reverb's the right word.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of reverb on them.
It's kind of
All of
echoey a little bit.
This whole album's got a lot of that.
Okay. I particularly wrote that down on this one. I wrote down that, it's a short number. There's not a lot to it. So it's just kind of like a basic rock number. And what's interesting, like I thought that maybe it wasn't actually long, but there's a guitar solo in part of it that felt long, but it's only a 3.5-minute song. So, for me, that's just indicative of like, okay, it's rock music and there's only so much I can appreciate it. I did feel like there was piano towards the end that started to stand out, which I liked. And I thought that was kind of cool because a lot of these songs aren't so piano-y. It's more guitar or like I think a mandolin in one of them.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get to some mandolin real soon.
Okay, so so I wrote down. I know some people like this rock, but to me it's cauliflower. So we've got the cauliflower reference again, and then like the drumming, like kind of to bring it to a close. So a lot of interesting things happening there. Not as strong to me as the first one, but I liked this one.
If you've heard a car commercial in the last 20 years, or 30, you've probably heard this song. I feel like I don't know if it was Cadillac or whoever used it, but like it got used a lot. That's where I heard it the most. I think the song is aptly titled because this is as basic as Led Zeppelin gets. This is, I mean, you forget sometimes because we think of them as we'll talk about for the next two tracks, they're a little more of this like medieval, like epic, dragons and stuff, Dungeons and Dragons kind of stuff to their music. But they are at their core a blues band. That's the stuff that they grew up on is the blues. And this is a 12-bar blues song. That means it's a 1-4-5 chord progression. This is really basic. And what at least what Dylan mentioned, I think when we recorded the other podcast, was that they were working on 4 sticks, which obviously we'll get to later, which is much more musically complicated and difficult to play. And at some point they were like, oh man, let's just fucking bash one out and have some fun. And so they did this. And there's a similar thing on, I think it's Let It Be, where the Beatles were like, let's just do one after 909, which is the same kind of thing. Of like, let's just do like a great basic 12-bar blues and Led Zeppelin style. And it's infectious. It's really good. Like, again, the lyrics don't really mean much. And because it's so simplistic, I think you'll see that reflected in my score. But in terms of like, if you were to try and like give somebody an example of like, what is rock and roll? Like I said, the song is aptly titled. This is what rock and roll is at its core.
Yeah. Okay. Cool stuff. You said a couple words in there that I wrote down, simplistic, and then you said the word basic a few times. Definitely basic. There is not a lot to the song. I think that the cool drums in the beginning is like a really cool way to start it off. It kind of lets you know that you're going. I've always liked the song, kind of. Like, I've always liked it, but I've never loved the song. I think it's just because it's that basic 1-4-5, like you're saying, Doug, kind of the basic, blues kind of thing where it's straight up rock and roll. It's really cool. I mean, the fact that it's just rock and roll, and it feels like the 50s or the 60s, but this is already, the early 70s at this point. It's still cool. It's cool that it's just a band that does stuff epic. Eventually they're going to get to Kashmir in their career, and then on this album you're hearing rock and roll. So I don't want to sound like I'm putting it down because it's just kind of basic, but it is very cool. It's just not one of my favorites. I think when it comes to bands like this, and we're talking about bands that write music and write songs, bands like the Beatles, bands like Aerosmith, bands like Led Zeppelin, bands like Pearl Jam, bands that write songs. This isn't a bad song by any means. You're not going to get any kind of low rating for me, but this is also not... It's hard to say it out loud, but I'm really getting at is well written because there's not a lot going on. Like lyrically, I don't even know what he's talking about. But the music's just cool and it feels good, and that really is enough for a rock song. So I'm good, but I'm just saying when it comes to Led Zeppelin, I'd prefer a little bit more. Give me some more songwriting stuff, which we're going to get to in a little bit.
This is just them having fun in a garage,
They're jamming, yeah. And that's cool.
It's so funny because, first of all, we all wrote down basic. And I like it because it's basic. You guys might be a little bit more bored by it because it's too basic for this band. So it's just an interesting perspective.
Yeah, we kind of cross over.
I don't dislike it. I mean, we know what they're capable of in terms of complexity. Sure. It's not that. It's just, I think this song does work. I think it's good. I'm giving it a good score, as you'll see in a minute. But the fact that this is not as complex, it's almost, again, there's kind of something refreshing about it in terms of how just it's as if someone took a Buddy Holly song and then cranked up all the instruments as hard as they could go. And that's not bad. Like, it's fun. It's really, really fun because of that.
And it's really actually, if you think about where it is in the album, like this is the perfect song to put early on where you just kind of want to get that good rock and roll out of your system. Like, let's get to serious going to California and stuff like that later on. We're just going to rock early on. I think that it pulls it off that way.
It's interesting you said it starts off with drums because it also ends with drums. So it's like very bookended drums, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, this really highlights the drumming there. I mean, again, all four of these guys are great at what they do, but like just world class in terms of ability to drum. And here, just like watching that kind of turn loose, it's like, yeah, sure, this is 4/4 and it's basic, but we're Led Zeppelin. It's still going to be pretty impressive when we do that too.
Hell yeah, John Bonham. John Bonham, that's one of the best drummers of all time right there. You know, unfortunately, this guy lost his life really early on. He was probably 35 or 40. It was like, what, 81? 80? They stopped. They basically said, they basically said, well, we're not Led Zeppelin anymore. We're done. And they've never made anything else. I mean, they've had a couple of little reunions and maybe greatest hits and stuff like that, but that was it.
Wow, it just hit them hard.
Hit them too hard, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's bust out with some ratings here. So what you got, Amy?
80%.
86.
And I got an 82 right in the middle of you guys. All right, so we're going for track number 3 here. This is the Battle of Evermore.
The Queen of Light took her bow, and then she turned to go. The Prince of Peace embraced the gloom and walked the night alone. Dancing in the dark night, sing to the Lord. The Dark Lord rides in force tonight, and time will tell us all. Throw down your blindfold, rest not to lock your hold. Side by side, we wait the night of the darkest dawn. I hear Horace's thunder down in the valley below. I'm waiting for the angels of Babylon, waiting for the eastern glow. The apples of the valley, oh, the seeds of happiness. Ground is rich from tender care, repay, do not forget.
This song is 551. It was written by Paige Plant, featuring Sandy Denny. I don't know if that's the mandolin player. I didn't really look too much into that, but there's definitely mandolin happening on here, and that guy is featured in it. And then I guess, Doug, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Sure. I have a lot to say about the Battle of Evermore. I do like this one a lot. I think that goes back to 4th grade. We did a unit in my 4th grade class on Shakespeare. And so we learned all about, his plays and the Renaissance. And so from that point on, I kind of fell in love with like Renaissance music. That kind of sound, I've always loved it. And so like you throw this mandolin in here and I'm happy. I'm like, oh, okay, we're talking about mandolin. We're talking about epic fantasy stuff. And as I mentioned up top, like these guys were big fans of Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings. Those lyrical references start here for this album. This is the first song to feature some direct references to them, some more oblique than others. But so the first lines of the song, the Queen of Light took her bow and then she turned to go. That is most likely a reference to Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. If people aren't familiar with the story, in the Lord of the Rings, the elves are leaving Middle Earth for their homeland, like for good. It's like an exodus. And so this character, she's taking her bow and she's turning to go. So that's a reference to her. Of course, there's a line, the Dark Lord rides in force tonight, that could be a reference to many evil characters in the story. And then he literally says, the ring wraiths ride in black. That is the most like direct reference to Tolkien. There's also one that says the magic runes are written gold to bring the balance back. That could be a Tolkien reference, but if so, it's kind of... there's nothing quite like that in Lord of the Rings. There are some magic or runes in The Hobbit, but they're not gold. And but he could be referencing that. It's possible. But there's also a lot of other medieval like fantasy. He talks about Avalon, which is Arthurian legend. So it's not just Tolkien exclusively. And apparently the song is about a real battle. So he's taking this like actual battle that occurred, I think, in Scotland, but he's infusing it with all of this like epic fantasy stuff to really kind of paint a picture, which I really like. And I think, like I said, there's something about metal after this that like a lot of it they'll pick up this ball and run with it. We want to think of whether it's Norse mythology or just general mythological concepts. There's something about this like days of yore and, you know, kind of stuff that is just becomes part of the DNA of metal. So wanted to talk about that. But as for this song itself, like, one, it's a great change of pace, right? We've just gone through 2 hard rockin' songs, and it's time to slow things down. And I think this is really pretty. I like I said, the mandolin playing, it's a little long. I think you could truncate it. It could be shorter. But I just love the vibe of this. This is so just like, you feel transported to a place like Middle-earth when you hear it. And so, yeah, this has always been one of my, like, it was on my top 10 list for that other episode. So those are my thoughts on the Battle of Evermore.
Nice. Yeah. Change of pace is like the first way to put it, right? Because you just came off of these 2 rock and rollers, and then you're going into this, which is like an acoustic mandolin. I don't think that there's drums on the song. Very melodic. I really like the melody that he's doing in the verses. That like it's very hooky. It's not a pop song by any means, but it's a very hooky vocal line. And I tell you, I haven't really known the lyrics to this song, and I started going through them recently as we were reviewing this album. This thing kicks ass, like lyrically. Like I kind of get what he's getting at. I mean, basically, it's war. There's war happening all around him, and I get like the Tolkien medieval reference. If anything, for me, it just kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones a little bit. It's kind of where I go with it.
Well, guess what that's based on, though.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, of course. Yeah, that's just because I watched it recently, so it kind of hits home. Very good lyrics. I mean, this is a dark acoustic masterpiece. I mean, this is a masterpiece. I've always kind of liked this song, meaning like I've always known that it was good, but I've never really dug into it until really these last couple weeks. And again, I've heard this song 30 times probably, but just lately, like, this thing is really good. Like, I really like this, and usually I don't think I would like something like this, especially on an album with songs like Black Dog and Rock and Roll. Good stuff. I mean, Battle of Evermore, hell yeah.
Can you guys just sing? I had a hard time with this
Queen
one.
of Light took her bow, and then she
The children
turned
are
to
sleeping.
go.
Is it that same melody the whole way through?
Dance in the dark night, sing to the morning light.
All right, this was a really hard one for me to kind of. I felt like every time I got to the end of it, I was like, I don't remember what I kind of like spaced out, and so I kept spacing out over this song, and so I didn't love it a ton because of that. There were parts.
Do you think that that's because it's lyrically epic? Meaning, like, there are parts, there's like an A part and a B part, but the lyrics aren't standard throughout to where like there's an actual like chorus. Is that why?
I don't know. I wish I had the answer. Like, I'd love to like dive into the music theory of Amy and like why things stick and why things don't. Maybe we could do a whole podcast on like I tell you guys some things I like and you tell me like what the thread line is, like, that makes it work for me and what doesn't. I mean, I thought this one was just kind of like all the way through, and although there were parts where he kind of like goes higher, and that was like vocally interesting, and there's some harmonies in there that like kind of reminded me of like CCR, or like, yeah, CCR would have been before them.
Yes.
So reminiscent of that. But I just couldn't. Yeah, I just didn't give me anything to like. Yeah, the lyrics, like, it definitely wasn't there for me. I mean, I appreciate all the, your appreciation for it. That's cool. But I didn't like, I couldn't sink my like claws into it. And then like the music, I don't know. Do you guys, I mean, I'd love to have like you guys tell me like what it is.
It's, you know what it is? The song is a little homogenous in terms of how it's sung. It's
yeah.
not that dynamic compared to, say, like Black Dog, where, like I said, they're speeding up, they're slowing down, or certainly not compared to the next one. This is a fairly similar sound you hear all the way through, and it's a little long. So I could feel like, and because there's nothing that repeats. Like the melodic lines repeat, but lyrically, like you said, there's no chorus.
Right.
There's like things that approach a chorus, but I think because of that, there's like, you can, if you're not really paying attention to it, it can feel not monotonous, but like it's fairly samey from beginning through to the end.
Yeah.
So I can see where you're kind of getting lost in a little bit. For me, it's like getting like the good side of getting lost in it, which is like, I'm in like a forest full of like fairies in, somewhere in a magical world. And I'm just like, just let me just like spend more time in this space, but if not clicking for that reason, it's also just like, all right, well, change something up or whatever, or let's move on.
Yeah, it's the way you said that. Like, it makes me think that the reason, Doug, I think that you and me like it is because it puts us in a place. It's a vibe. It's a feel. Rather than Amy, I think you're looking for like a song that kind of speaks to you, where like it's just kind of boring because the lyrics are just kind of going and going and going. It's like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? The melody doesn't change. It's stagnant. It kind of. I kind of get that. Like, I think if it was another band doing something like this that wasn't as iconic as Led Zeppelin, and it was something in 2025, I might feel the same way.
I don't know. I mean, there's certainly slow songs that I like, but they might be more melody driven. And this one is just the same over and over and over. So, I can't explain it.
All right. Well, let's jump to some ratings here. What do you got, Doug?
I gave Battle of Evermore a 90, an even 90.
I gave it a 91.
Jesus Christ. I gave it a 65.
Wow.
She gave Battle of Evermore a 65. That's fun.
You know what's so funny is like, if anybody, and nobody's probably listening to this podcast yet, we probably don't have much traction, but like people are probably like, who the fuck is this girl? Like,
I think you're going to get both, Amy.
Yeah, you think so?
I think you're going to get people that are like, Doug and Kyle know their shit. Amy's fucking stupid. But you're also going to get like the people that are like, yeah, this song is boring. Like, can we just skip this already and go on to the next one?
Everybody like this thing.
Yeah. Which is great, because now I've heard it from your mouth that not everybody has to like all the same music. This is a point of contention in our car rides.
Ooh.
Yeah, spicy.
Music's definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. But we're great otherwise.
Sure.
Sure.
Doug just has to listen to Jason Mraz all the time.
It's the same 150 songs in Amy's car.
150, yeah.
Yeah, I don't change up my music. There's nothing new is ever added, and it's all from 2002.
Has anything been added since we started these podcasts, though? Like, is there a Muse song? Is there an Aerosmith song? No, nothing's changed.
Well,
Okay.
no, I don't have a problem with Aerosmith.
But did you take anything from Nine
Yeah,
Lives and add it to your
No, I mean, I
playlist?
was already like fine with that album.
Okay.
Are you guys now listening to Lizzie? Kyle, have you listened to it since?
What's a Lizzie?
You don't even
From Ben
remember
Queller.
the song you liked from Ben Queller?
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't remember it. I swear to God. Now,
A song telegraphed.
oh, I loved that one. Thank you. Yes. See, I just had to get back there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved that one. That was a good one.
I know, and you still have completely like written it off forever.
I did. It's gone. It
It's
doesn't even
gone,
exist
see?
anymore. Bring that up if you can, but once a month, just to keep it fresh.
No,
Thank you.
just download it. You have Apple Music. Just make Amy's bullshit music a list.
I just gotta
And call
put it on
it
a
that.
playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bullshit list.
We
by Amy.
should have a playlist that we share that is like music from these podcasts that we just listen to.
Interesting.
Interesting. All right, let's move it along.
All
Who's up
right,
next?
going on to track number 4. Stairway to Heaven, folks.
If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alone there. It's just a sprinkling for the May Queen. Yes, there are 2 paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. And it makes me wonder
Just kidding.
Page Plant, 8 minutes and 2 seconds. I mean, guys, I'll just ask. I'm going to go first, but do you want the short version, the medium version, or the long version?
It's
Because
time,
the long
it's time
version.
to say your piece, man. Say what you want to say about Stairway to Heaven.
Can you put the air on for me while we're doing this?
Yeah, can we? Because this is going to take a lot. I mean, from beginning to end, I mean, it's a masterpiece, you know, with the first note of the acoustic guitar. You know, you start adding in some instrumentation, some woodwind instruments, and you get that beautiful verse. And then you flip over eventually to the Makes Me Wonder part, and you kind of just keep going back and forth and back and forth. And then comes the best drum fill of all time, which is simply dak doom doom doom, right into where you start rocking. It's really hard to talk about this song. In my mind, this is one of the best songs ever written. So I mean, we could go on. We could have a whole episode on this. But I think that it still holds up today, even though it was 35 years ago. Or, no, 55 years ago? 55 years ago that this song came out. I actually did not make any notes for this song. This is the only song where I just decided to wing it. I mean, it's all just amazing. I mean, the vocals and everything he's saying, you could feel that. The guitar work builds and builds and builds. I heard at one point that there's like 100 guitar tracks on this, which I probably believe. I don't think that there's probably any moment to where there's 100 guitar tracks stacked on top of each other, but I can imagine him punching in probably 100 times. One part of this song that I really like that probably doesn't get a lot of attention is the transition into the solo when it does this sort of fanfare-y shla-da-dang, 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 dang, dang. I really think that that's really nice because it really takes the whole sort of a ballad. It's really sort of the first part of the song is really sort of a ballad that keeps on coming up, and here we go. And then you get that sort of fanfare-y transition into, to me, it's one of the best guitar solos of all time. And I don't know if it's because it really actually is or just because I just personally love it so much. So I don't know. Listeners can decide. And then, of course, you know, the iconic ending, just as we wind on down the road and just those three chords going back and forth, A minor, F and G, A minor, G, F. Yeah, this is fucking Stairway to Heaven. I mean, what else can I say about this? I mean, I first heard this song when I was probably 13. I was probably 14 years old. And ever since then, I mean, I'm usually going to listen to it when it gets put on the radio. And this is one of those songs where if they play it on the radio, they're not going to cut part of it. You're going to hear the full 8 minutes and 2 seconds. I am going to shut up now and pass it over to Amy.
Okay, before I go into my analysis, I want you guys to I recognize it's a good song, but can you just give me 2 sentences of why does everybody think this is the best song ever written? 2 sentences. What's your pitch?
Epic verse. Epic lyrics. So epic lyrics, first off. The lyrics are very, very meaningful.
Okay.
And just the guitar work. Guitar work alone would be, I mean, I'll start there. I can probably give you 10, but if you just want 2, I'll say lyrics and guitar.
I'll say the song has everything. Right, it starts as a ballad and ends as this thundering rock song. So you're literally getting almost the entire genre of rock in one song. So you're getting all of this, and it's all good. Each piece of it is good. And as you said, I think these are Led Zeppelin. These are Led Zeppelin's best lyrics in this song. They're actually really meaningful and deep.
That's more than 2 sentences.
Sorry. So
you'll get your
great
chance,
lyrics
don't worry.
and a great epic build.
I was just curious if you could just summarize, because I like it, and I'll share my analysis in a little bit. But I'm just wondering, what sets it so apart? Because there's so many great rock songs, and so what is it about this one that everybody is just oh my god? Is it the fact that there's 3 distinct parts? Is it, the lyrics like you just said? Is it the
dynamics, right?
It's
I think
the
it's that
whole
dynamic
thing.
Yeah, and that it's one of those things where it is, there's a high degree of difficulty given how complex the song is, and then when it's that feeling when you watch a gymnast and they stick the landing, it's wow, they pulled it off, at that high degree of difficulty. I think that that adds a lot to it.
Okay.
And also, what other song out there is like this? And length is not a thing, because November Rain is not like this type of a song. I mean, it might be good, but I mean, there's something special about being able to start off with one single guitar to where you're pounding at the end with these screaming lyrics and guitars.
Yeah. I was thinking like Patience. I know that's not nearly as like dynamic as this, but I was
No
like,
drums.
oh, it starts out so slow, and then at the end he's like picks it up and it's really rocking, and so like that is really cool. And so like, yeah, I get it that there's different parts of it, and these are like so stand out different transitions that are, it's pretty cool. I'll let you guys do like the big analysis, but I'll just share like my like brief thoughts. Like I really like that there's 3 different distinct parts. I like how he sings at the very end. I think it's like really cool and it's really catchy, like the screamy ending. And then
As we wind on down the road part.
yeah. Like, I mean, he's obviously like an amazing singer. I mean, he's essentially most of the time like singing it like all the way up here. Like,
Yeah, he's high, up high.
like, yeah, he's using his abilities obviously. But then I like how he kind of like brings it down and like you end in that acapella-ness of it all. I mean, I don't have a ton to say. It's just a classic, memorable Stairway to Heaven, masterpiece. But I don't understand like why it's this masterpiece. But I'm also not a musician, so I like it. It's one of my top-rated ones on this whole thing. But yeah, I appreciate your perspective.
Yeah, I remember when I was editing the other Led Zeppelin episode, and I'm looking at the sound wave itself visualized, and when you look at this song, like it's literally like a cone that starts
Crescendo,
real
right?
small, and yeah, because it's a crescendo. The whole song just builds and builds and fucking builds, and the drama of that is really, really special. Another song that does this, maybe not quite to the same degree, but think of Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers,
Okay,
right? Like
good call.
bursts
Yeah.
into "I need your love" at the end, and it's just like there's something about something that builds and builds and builds
It's a
until it bursts.
like everybody likes a good climax, right?
That's well, I mean, basically, yeah.
But I mean, it has to like build, and something has to deliver at that end.
Yeah,
But for
you
the
gotta
song-
get there at the end.
Yeah.
But not only does it build, I mean, it starts very quiet to get to that point. Like they really start at just that guitar. I remember there's the joke in Wayne's World where he goes into a guitar store and he picks up a guitar.
Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, he points at the sign. But yeah, no stairway because everybody plays it. That was probably my first awareness of the song. Actually, I just knew that it had this reputation as being good, and then I finally got around to hearing it. It was like, Jesus, this is good. I should mention because I wanted to focus in on this, just because there are some more Tolkien references here. There's these things. There's a feeling I get when I look to the west, and my spirit is crying for leaving. Again, a reference to that elven Exodus in the book. He says, "In my thoughts, I have seen rings of smoke through the trees and the voices of those who stand looking." That may be a Tolkien reference. There's a lot in the story about forests being burned down and then those forests getting up and fighting back, which is cool. He says, "A new day will dawn for those who stand long, and the forest will echo with laughter." Again, Tolkien was really into writing about trees. He really cared a lot about trees and the environment, so that's a big part of Lord of the Rings. But then to get kind of into what the song is really about, which, like, it's cool that there are these Tolkien references in it, but he's singing about a person who thinks they can buy their way into heaven, right? That's what this awful person is all about. But yeah, just that last set of lyrics, man. I remember, like, you go, like, in my college, like at the common, whatever, you could go and buy posters to put in your dorm room, whatever, and like so many people had that image of that sketch of the person with the lantern. That's associated with this, and then just those lyrics. As we wind on down the road, our shadows taller than our soul, there walks a lady we all know who shines white light and wants to show how everything still turns to gold. And if you listen very hard, the tune will come to you at last when all are one and one is all, to be a rock and not to roll. Like it's like they're usually not that good at lyrics. I mean, I like Led Zeppelin, but a lot of the times their lyrics, as we've said, are kind of like whatever. They're just a vehicle for cool vocals to happen, but like they really wrote the shit out of this. And then just you said, like, I don't know if that's the best guitar solo of all time. It's up there. Like, I think objectively, because like as you said, they get that like kind of like, they're not trumpets, but almost feels like they're about to blow some trumpets as it starts. It's like, here we go, people. Here comes the solo, and just having him melt your face off, and then have Robert Plant come in for this just thundering end. I mean, just it's the dynamics and the drama of that that just make this so special. So yeah, really just a very, very important special song that I think deserves its place in the pantheon.
And there's so many hooks in there. Like you're talking about the guitar solo. Like there's the part where it goes, ah, like while the guitar's wailing on top of it, kind of a back and forth. Ah, like those little things that happen. There's like the little bridge sections where the "It Makes Me Wonder" part, ding 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 ding. Like it's just hooky. Like all those little parts have their own little hooks that pulls you in.
Yeah, and the transitions are good too. Like that, as you said, that drum fill that just boom, 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 boom. Yes, there's a bustle in your head. Like the first time the song really kicks into its next gear. Like it feels so natural that they're changing it up and like, okay, we're gonna step it up a little bit. Here we go. And like each time they kind of like ramp up the song, like it doesn't feel artificial or just like it's just like it all feels very naturally. It's just like, yes, this is composed almost like a piece of classical music more than a piece of rock music.
And it's not easy to do what they do with the tempo, because obviously the tempo at the beginning of the song might be, 80 beats per minute. By the time you're at the end, you're like at 100. Like you're completely... And how did they get there? It's not like they were playing against a metronome that took them from 82 to 84 to 86. Like they gradually just kind of speed up to get to like a full-on rock song at the end. Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
I think it's time to give some ratings, guys.
Yep. Kyle, what's your score?
So I think before I say this, like going back to the way that ratings are is like I think by rating this and rating these other songs, I really realized that it is true that when we're putting these numbers on them, we're comparing it to the album within itself.
Yeah.
I gave Black Dog a 93. In the real world, if we were to rate every song, it might not be a 93. I mean, maybe it would be like a 90 still, but it's going to be a little different. So every album is sort of have the songs within it kind of get graded on a curve based on where they fit. So with that in mind, I almost put 100 to Stairway to Heaven, but I couldn't because I feel like there's always room to improvement in everything. So I gave the song a 99.
I gave it a 90.
And I did give it 100 because I can't.
Fucking 100.
I absolutely gave it 100. I couldn't think of, like, I realize there's a theoretical room for improvement, but like, if I can't give it to Stairway to Heaven, what can I give it to?
Yeah.
You know,
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's that good, and like I just couldn't. I don't have a single ounce of criticism for it, and so therefore it gets 100.
100% A+.
All right. Next.
All right, track number 5 is Misty Mountain Hop. This is a Page Plant Jones song, 4 minutes and 38, kind of on the lower side of shorter songs. It's the 5th song, so back in the 70s, you'd have to flip over the record. So you just got done with Stairway to Heaven, you took the record off, you flipped it over, and out comes Misty Mountain Hop. What you got, Amy?
This one was like kind of meh for me. I mean, it's not the worst on the album, but it's not super memorable. I think there's definitely some interesting parts. I feel like there was like some layered tracks going on, like almost right from the start. And I don't remember if it was like vocals. I think it was vocals. It's hard for me to remember all these songs, guys. But yeah, I think there's some layering of tracks for vocals that kind of sound cool. And then there's a part, and I don't remember how it sounds. Maybe Doug, you can look at my really out of my mind. That I was like really super impressed with the vocals that he even more falsettos himself.
Oh, he just screams, just really out of my mind. Like he just goes way up for that.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I think that's really cool. It's like all these songs for the most part, are like just showcasing his voice to me. I mean, I'm not going to be super impressed, not the right word. I'm not catching on to the cool things that are happening with the guitars and all the other instruments like you guys are. But definitely, like, the vocals for me are just amazing. Towards the end of the song, I thought the guitar and the drums got a little too loud for me. And so it just kind of loses
Okay,
me.
Grandma.
I know. No, but I like rock. It felt like it gets kind of overpowering. And it just kind of loses me in the noise. So it's just kind of meh for me. It's okay. Sorry.
This is one that I'm not as hot about. I like it. I don't love it. I think part of what I have an issue with is the verses, which is that kind of slinky, like, like it's all half steps. Kind of, and I don't. If people like a half step is like if you're looking at a piano, it's one note to the note that's immediately adjacent to it. That just kind of doing back and forth those little steps, like melodically, that kind of like it's grating to me. I don't know why. It bothers me. So I don't really dig that. There are some cool vocal bits. I think when he bursts into, I really don't know, the middle part of it when he breaks away from that pattern. Is good. So this one's just sort of middle of the road for me. I'll call out a Tolkien reference, but it's a real meaningless one. The song, it's called Misty Mountain Hop, and he references at one point, I'm going to the Misty Mountains. I'm packing my bags for the Misty Mountains. The Misty Mountains are a Middle-earth location where some key story events happen, but that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the song otherwise. He was just like, I need the name of a place, and Misty Mountains is cool and alliterative, and it sounds nice. But yeah, other than that, no significance to Lord of the Rings that I can find. But still wanted to call it out because, again, it's Tolkien month. So yeah, this one's just kind of like, again, middle of the road for me. I think, I kind of feel the same way about it as you do, Amy. Like, there's some neat things happening, but I don't know that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, I would say middle of the road for me too. Not the best, not the worst. I really like the placement of this song. I really like that you built up from rock and roll to battle to stairway. You kind of burst it open, and then now you flip over the record, and it's Misty Mountain Hop. It's like a new feel. You haven't felt a song like this on the album yet. This is new at this point. There's nothing else like this. It's definitely a classic hook, like that. Like, that's classic. I've known that thing in my brain for 35 years. I like that the verse vocals is not straight with the music that's happening on top of it. He does this thing melodically where he's going do 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 do. It's in threes if you count that. Do 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 do. Right, that's three. Well, I think musically it's in 4/4. It's pretty straight. So I think that's nice. I like that. I think it's just it makes it feel more musical that way because you're not just on your straight 4/4 standard. It makes it feel a little different. I really like those breaks. Those breaks are really cool because they're halftime. You go into these sort of halftime draggy feel, which is nice. I don't really know what he's singing about, and honestly, I don't really care because to me, the voice sounds awesome. I feel like it's one of those songs to when I want to tune in to listen to the lyrics, I could actually understand it. They actually mixed it fairly high on this. So you can, and when I want to, I can kind of tune in and just listen to some words. But overall, I'm more locked into just the bass, the drums, and the guitar. This song kind of makes me smile. It's not too emotional. It's kind of light. Even the songs earlier, like Black Dog, feels, because it's a little bit minor, it feels a little bit darker. But this one just feels kind of light. Like, it's not, again, I don't know what the lyrics are, but, oh, I just did something with my screen to blow you guys up. I'll fix that in a second. And I lost my train of thought because my computer broke me. So Kyle broke. Welcome to Broken Land.
You want to start all over? Just kidding.
No. We'll finish it out. But it feels light. Is what I'm saying.
Oh my god.
It feels like a light song. Like, this is one of the more major sounding songs, which is really a refreshment at this point of the album because you haven't had too much of this. I mean, the last two especially were a lot darker. So this is nice. I'm happy to flip over the record and hear the song.
Okay.
All right.
So
ratings.
You're up first.
70%.
80.
And I gave it an 83.
Okay.
How do you decide the difference between an 80 and an 83? For the listeners out there.
Because you know what, I look at each song and there's other songs that if it's like an 85, it's not quite an 85, and there's an 80, it's in the middle there somewhere. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of random, right? All right, we're going on to the next song. This is track number 6. This is called 4 Sticks. All right, so this is a song that, let's see, what are we at here? We're at number 6. This is called 4 Sticks. This is written by Page and Plant, 445. And what you got, Doug?
So remember all those nice things I had to say about Stairway to Heaven? I don't care for this at all. This is the turd in the punch bowl for me. This is just like noodling on instruments to me. Like there's, as you said, it's just not that melodic. So I don't know what he's singing about. The lyrics don't seem to mean anything. What it has going for it, if anything, is that it is complex. Like there's complications to the musicianship here, but to what end, I don't know. Like you can almost understand, like when you hear that story about, oh yeah, they were trying to play this and they said, fuck it, let's just play rock and roll. Like there's, that instinct was right. I just don't care for this song. Like there's nothing to hook me here. It has like zero dynamics, compared to something like Stairway. Like it's just mostly just that groove over and over again. But that's just not enough to keep me. Like it just feels like they're just playing around in a studio, and it just ended up on the album half formed.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, I think in some ways I do agree. Traditionally, this has been one of my least favorites. I mean, really, probably least favorite Led Zeppelin songs, just because it doesn't stand out like all of the other 7 songs on this album and on other albums too. But I enjoy it. I think that it's fun that it's like the time signature. I think it's in 5/4, so the verses are in 5/4, and I think the choruses are in 6/8. And I just like that as a musician. I think that that's just kind of cool. But like you said, Doug, I don't think it's very melodic. There's not a lot of melody. I'm not really that interested in the lyrics at this point because I don't really understand the melody. But I think it's fun. I like the time signature thing. I'm a little bored by the vocals in general, so I'm not really paying attention to that. I think that, again, we're at a point in the album to where we're finding a song that does not sound like anything else. So I already appreciate that. There's nothing else like 4 Sticks on this album. In fact, there might not be too many other songs like 4 Sticks on the planet. What else did I write down? Oh, there's a bridge thing that happens towards the end. It lasts for like 30 seconds. It's probably from like 3:30 to 4, right around that, to where that 6/8 chorusy bridge, it gets really melodic with some sort of, I don't know, almost keyboardy, guitar-y stuff happening. I don't even know. But I like that. I enjoy that. But, it's definitely ain't no Stairway to Heaven. Amy?
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned time signature, because I usually gravitate more towards songs that are like in 7/4. And so this one...
Wait. We gotta talk about this. 7/4.
I'm just kidding. I don't know what 7/4 is.
Because there's not too many songs in 7/4.
What's a song?
I can't even imagine what that would sound like. It'd be weird.
1,
would be
2,
fast.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, I'm sure there's a song out
I'm sure
there.
there's something.
I just made that up,
Yeah.
guys. I just had to make things
Almost
interesting.
everything you hear is in 4/4, and
Yeah.
of what's left, most of it is in 3/4. A
3,
handful
4,
of
6,
songs are
8.
things other than that.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. Okay, just had to make.
You're
things
fucking with
interesting.
us.
I'm fucking with you. Okay. Wouldn't it be funny if like I actually said something that meant something accidentally?
Accidentally.
I don't know anything about time signature. You used to quiz me and try to teach it to me, but I was just counting. I was like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
That's
That's
correct.
4.
That's yeah.
4. But I'm like, how is that any different than like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1,
That's
2.
3, 4 versus 4, 4 right there.
Okay, 5. Can I do 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that still 4, 4?
Yes, you're counting
That's
to
4,
4.
4.
Oh, so how would it be 4, 5?
It's the looping of the beat. Like once you've got kind of a set pattern, you will write the rest of the music around the way that repeats.
No, I know, but like
5, 5, 4. 5 beats in the measure. The measure are in
the
increments
measure
of 4,
so it would
4.
have to
They're
be shorter.
So usually like a 3/4 would be more of like what sounds like a waltz. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Da, 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 da. That's a very bouncy sound. Whereas 4/4 is just like your standard rock song, just bump, 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 bump. So that's
Time
most. That's
signatures.
why that's
A
most of
lesson
what
by
you hear.
Doug and Kyle.
I can't wait to do our Nostalgium Arcanum on time signatures.
We already did it.
Really?
Yes, there was.
Not exclusively.
Wasn't it
If
on our
anything,
Led
I'd
Zeppelin?
rather listen to less.
It might have been.
Beatles? It might have been Beatles.
Yeah, there was some. One of our
I know
musical
you
ones.
guys educated.
Happiness was a warm gun, maybe.
I think you educated. I feel like Dylan was part of that conversation.
I
Yeah, he
I
was.
never assume that the listeners have any idea what this is, so it's always good to go like, hey, in case you don't know, to catch you up. Here's
I think
just-
it might have been Billy Joel.
No, that was recent.
No,
Really?
Yeah.
because I was on. It was one that I was on.
Oh,
This was
I
like a
think it
year
was
ago, at
Zeppelin
least.
or Beatles. Yeah.
I feel like it was something I listened to recently, which is not one of those.
But hey, listeners, if
So
you've
what
been
do you think
skipping
of Four
ahead,
Sticks, Amy?
we're going to slow down now.
I know. We only have 3 songs left, so we're almost done. This one's another middle of the road for me. I thought it had a memorable riff, but don't ask me to sing it because I don't remember what it was. I wrote down that I like his voice, but it just really started to feel like a long song towards the end, so it just didn't really have anything that was like hooking me. And it just sounded like noise. And you guys said you didn't like this one a ton either, so that's all. Not an amazing analysis on this one from
Okay.
me. Not my least favorite though.
Interesting.
Ah.
Not as bad as Evermore, which apparently is, God forbid, I rate that so low.
All right, Doug, what do you got?
Gave it a 40.
What?
Yeah, this
40?
felt like, and I'll tell you why. It felt
Folks,
like
this is the lowest of all time.
this.
Of all time.
This felt like
Yeah.
work to me. Listening to this was like I have to. Ugh.
I were
Like,
joking.
I really didn't like this song, and like it's just like if I feels like I have to actually like work to get through it, like I don't want to listen to it. Like I just didn't like it. So it was like if I really don't want to listen to it, it's like actively fighting me. I'm like, then I'm not gonna give. The only reason I gave it a 40 was because like it is
Put
musically
40.
complex, but like, no, I felt like
45.
it failed to me. I didn't like it.
I mean, that's how I
52.
felt about your entire Muse album, and I still gave that like 70 or whatever I gave it. Wow.
Wow, 40.
This is your own
okay.
pick. That's really funny.
I don't, the rest of the songs,
I mean, this
I
is
have
like
a lot of good
the
things to
worst
say.
song of all time, then, according to you. Because
I
Yeah.
didn't say that.
Well,
I
these-
just said I didn't like it.
your scoring's interesting.
This was the song to where, like, when you announced that this was the song, the album, Doug, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta listen to Four Sticks. I
See?
gotta,
That's what I mean. Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta listen to this thing.
It-
Fuck.
Wow.
totally. But I ended up liking it, I think, more than I have in the past. It still doesn't break the 80 mark, which is where the Kyle is where if you're a good song, Kyle needs to be at it needs to be at a Kyle 80. 78 is where I put it.
Wow.
It's a 70 for me. We have to talk more about your rating scale, Doug. Because there's songs that on my albums that you did not like, and yet they still did not get 40s. So it's just
They were in the
really-
60s.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there was nothing that I was like I could say like this song isn't for me.
Yeah.
I can recognize there's good things about it. There were none that like there were some of those songs that I on things you picked I didn't like, but they didn't like make me angry
Okay.
the way this does. Which is like,
Wow.
oh come on guys, like you're Led fucking Zeppelin. You're telling me you didn't have like 5 other songs you were thinking about maybe putting on here. Like there was shit that ended up on the next album that like could have
Yes.
been here. Like stuff that was on Houses of the Holy or whatever that like didn't make this cut.
Yeah.
Like this is like it doesn't have a melody. Like it's just not good. And so like somebody should have stepped in and go like try again. So yeah, do not like it.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, track number 7. This is Going to California, officially the shortest song on the album at 3:32.
Took my chances on a big jet plane. Never let them tell you that we're all the same. Oh, the sea was red and the sky was gray. I wondered how tomorrow could ever follow today. Mountains in the canyon start to tremble and shake. The children of the sun begin to wake. Watch out. It seems that the wrath of the gods got a punch on the nose and it started to flow. I think I might be sinking. Throw me a line if I reach it in time. I'll meet you up there and the path runs straight and high.
This was written by Page and Plant, and I'm going to get us kicked off. I love the clean guitar. I think that this is really refreshing, coming off of everything that we've seen so far. I'll say it again. We're at a point in the album where we have heard nothing like this. So this is new at this point. I really like the vocals. I like that there's not a lot of reverb on the vocals, and they kind of feel like they're right up in your face. It feels really intimate. I think he's singing about earthquakes, I think, with Going to California. You guys can probably talk more about that. I just read that. I don't really know, but I'm sure I think that's probably true. I really adore that minor part after, you're kind of major into the verses, and then it goes to that other part of the song where it's a little bit darker, which is a nice variation from the other part of the song. When the vocals really go up high, I wrote down delightful because it's really delightful. I really enjoy when it goes up like that because a lot of the rest of the song is a lot lower. Let's say, what else did I wrote down? It's short. I like it. It's kind of quick and it's to the point, and there's not a lot of intricacies going on in it, and it's kind of the perfect little track. Love Going to California.
Yeah, so this is a little bit more of an Amy type song. It doesn't quite land where I wish it would land as being like a slowy kind of country-ish. It's I think the problem I have with it, now this is going to sound anti everything I've already shared, but it just stays a little too middle of the road for me. Like it doesn't have enough dynamic. And I kind of wish it had like a little bit more to it. It's a really pretty song. There are parts where he kind of takes his voice like a little higher, but I don't know, it just kind of loses me. I liked it. I think it's got some good qualities to it. I didn't dive too much into California, except that I think he like moved to California for somebody and then it went wrong. And yeah, I think there's some earthquakey references in there, but I didn't do a super analysis of the lyrics on that. And I thought for being such a short song, there's a really long outro of instrumental, and that sucked up a lot of the time. I counted it. I think it was about 40 seconds. Those extended instrumental parts just kind of lose me, unfortunately, at least on this album. So it was all right.
I like this one. I think this is a kind of like there's a very like kind of peaceful sound to it. I would think, Amy, actually my recommendation is if you're what's the song that's like this that kind of gives you what you're looking for, because I think this song pairs well with it, is from Led Zeppelin's 3, the album before this. The song is Tangerine, and one
of the best.
Yeah. And I think this song is it's not quite as good as...
I wish you could see my face, listeners.
Yeah, I think it's not
I'm
quite as good.
You're going to make me listen to more?
Yeah. Well, or Thank You. Thank You and Tangerine are both sort of similar off of 2.
Isn't Tangerine on 3? Whatever. The
Tangerine's on 3.
Yeah,
Thank You's on 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Tangerine was an REM song.
That's Orange Crush. You're thinking it's a different citrus song.
Is it who wrote Lemon Lime?
Yeah.
Lemon Lime.
So I appreciate this as like an acoustic ballad. I think it's fine. I think you're right, Amy. It's not as dynamic. I do like that minor part. It seems that the
Yeah, I like that
seems
part.
that the Wrath of the Gods got a punch in the nose. They do put in a lot of reverb on him for that.
Yeah.
And that is a really cool thing. I think if they had done that maybe one more time somewhere in the song and cut the outro more, that would have done something for it. But as it is, as again, it's just a very kind of pleasant, just like that's the best word I can use for it. It's not even a word; it's just a sound. Like there's something. This is a peaceful, relaxing kind of sound from them, and I do like it. Like I said, I do think it's not quite as good as Tangerine, which is the better version of this idea.
Okay. All right. Going to California. I guess I'll get us going on a rating here. I think if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would have given it a 75, but it's really grown on me over the years. So I gave it a 92.
All right, and I'm Kyle 10 years ago, so it's a 75 for me.
I gave it a 90.
All right.
Interesting.
We're moving on here to the final song of this short album, the not quite the longest. So track number 8 is When the Levee Breaks.
If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. If it keeps on raining, levee's going to break. When the levee breaks, have no place to stay. Meet old levee, taught me to weep and moan. Meet old levee, taught me to weep and moan. It's got what it takes to make a mountain man leave his home.
Page Plant, Jones Bonham, all four, plus someone named Memphis Minnie, because it's kind of a cover from what I understand. Amy, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, so this was kind of a bummer of an ending for me. It didn't land. It took a really long time to get to the vocals, about a minute and a half.
125 is what I wrote
Yeah,
down.
I wrote down 125 too. I feel is it a slide guitar going on or just an electric?
I think it's a slide.
It sounds slidey to me.
There might be both.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I like different interesting instruments. This one felt super bluesy to me. I know they're kind of a blues rock band, like at their core, even though they're like hard rock also. I don't know how to verbalize. Like, I don't know. It was okay. Like, I just kind of found it meh. I know that's not really super great analysis, but I didn't like it.
This was Dylan's number one, actually, when we did.
Really? Dylan and I don't get along with our music taste.
This is I think this is a musician's song, and it's another one of those songs where like this is a groove, and like you're either just get on the train, or like just keep giving me that groove over and over, like I want it, as we talked about last time, it's kind of like She's So Heavy by the Beatles, right? Like that, just you can just live in that outro forever, or
over and over.
Or if you're not, you're just like, okay, why is it so long? It is a cover. This is a traditional blues song, It is also a 12-bar blues, the way rock and roll is, but a much more like minor key. There's something ominous to this. As he sings about, I remember thinking of the song when, all of the disaster was happening in New Orleans a few years back when the levees were literally breaking. So no wonder this song came to mind. And this song can be if it hits you at the right time, it can feel apocalyptic, right? Because that's basically what it's about, right? If it keeps on raining, the levee's going to break, right? And then what happens? It's all the only reason something like this wouldn't have a bunch of Tolkien references in it is because it happens to be from before those books were written by somebody else. Because that story is also a lot about basically that idea. If it keeps on raining, the levee's going to break. Things are just going to get worse and worse and worse until disaster happens. So I do like what it's about lyrically. I do like this groove. I don't know that I like it for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But it is like definitely, again, the musicianship here is high. Robert Plant's vocals are always kind of unassailable. So it is cool. It is a good groove. I'm gonna give it a decent score, but I do understand why this is not an Amy song. Like it's just like it's too long and it's too samey.
Amy don't like samey.
I get why it's not an Amy song, and I can get why it wouldn't be a lot of people's favorite song. But I can also understand Dylan's point of view because this is a banger, a slow banger. This song to me is all about the feel. It's that slow, hard groove with the harmonica and the guitar, the rhythm guitar and the bass and the drums. I mean, that drum intro just starts out. You can feel that in your bones. I want to hear that drum intro for 5 minutes. Then let's get to the other 708. Lyrically, I mean, if it keeps on raining, the levee's going to break. It pretty much says that and a few times, and then like kind of what you said, Doug, it does feel like apocalyptic, and not only lyrically but melodically and just that dark tone of the song.
Yeah, I don't know if it's even fair to criticize the lyrics because it's technically a cover. It's not their lyrics, so I don't know what to make of that. But go on.
True. Yeah. At about 2.5 minutes in the song, it does go to like a major part. So there is like the bridge or like that chorus or whatever you feel or whatever that's called, where it feels a little different, but it's like major. And I think that that's a nice change, it's really nice. Seventh. I like how it has the seventh. So it uses the seventh in music. So not a major seventh, but like a minor seventh, where it's like a da. If that's your root, da. The seventh is the one below that. Da da da. That da is the seventh, and it does this thing later in the song to where it kind of stays on that seventh, and it takes it a moment for it to just like za to get back to that root. And I really like that lingering on that seventh, even though that's not like necessarily good on the ears to hear that lingering, but I like it because they eventually resolve it. I feel different about it being 708. This is the kind of song that can probably be 15 minutes for me, and I'd probably still like it because that groove, it's kind of like like you said it, Doug, I want you, she's so heavy, like just keep giving it to me over and over again. Coincidentally, I have morning songs that I wake up to just with my phone alarms, and the Muse song Starlight has been one of my songs. I think we might have talked about that on the podcast. But I've always wanted this song to be, I want to wake up to just those drums, but for whatever reason, my phone doesn't let me pick the song. So if listeners, you've got a way on how to make it your alarm song, let me know. The end, it gets really heavy, and it's like the vocals get way more affected. Like it has like a deeper, like a distorted effect on it, which is really nice. This is not a pop song by any means. If I was trying to get a pop song, I would not give this a high rating at all. But I appreciate that it's not. I appreciate, by the way, that this is the last song on the album. This feels like the last song on the album. I mean, Going to California probably would have worked too, and Stairway to Heaven probably would have worked. But this is perfect ending to an album for me. This is not my favorite, but it's up there.
Yeah, I think if you want a Led Zeppelin song that again occupies this kind of a like darker minor key tone that's kind of threatening and ominous, that's more dynamic and interesting, I would recommend No Quarter. I love that song. It's got a very heavy riff to it as well, but it's like there's all that goes down and like it downshifts into quiet parts, and then it kind of hits you with that. So it's way more dynamic in a way. This is not. This is again very just like we're in this groove. This is it. This whole song is just this groove.
Yeah, it actually might remind me a little bit of Kashmir too, just because it has that straight beat. Even though Kashmir is maybe more dynamic because it has the the strings kind of going on in there.
That's by Weezer, right? The sweater.
The sweaters, it's Kashmir.
Yes.
Sorry.
That was
Is
that took me a second to connect
Yeah.
those dots.
Is
Yeah.
that Led Zeppelin also?
Kashmir is.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
we'll have to
sweater
do
song
that
is.
that album next.
I know. No, I know.
Yep.
I thought that's funny.
Good job.
What do you got on rating, Abe?
Oh, I just think it's important for the listeners to know what my wake up song is, which is the theme from Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend.
You want to wake up to that?
Yeah,
Oh my
it like kind of
God.
puts you in a happy mood. And actually, it went off at work today. My phone rang, and it was the same ringtone. And a couple of people were like, "What is that?" So, anyways, my rating on this is 65%, the same as Evermore.
85.
Wow. All right, I gave it a 90.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so we've done it. We've
did
gone
it.
through. Time to talk about our favorites and least favorites. I think it's pretty clear from the scoring how people are going to do this, but Kyle, you're first.
Yeah, so I mean, with this one, there was a distinct number one and then a low. So the high was Stairway to Heaven, obviously, and I guess if I had to put some other ones in there with it, I'd put Black Dog and Going to California. Least favorite looks like it is Four Sticks. Rock and Roll might kind of be there too, but we'll just call it Four Sticks as the low point of the album.
For me, my tops are Stairway and Black Dog. And what's funny, when I first did my ratings, I actually had Stairway under Black Dog, but I was like, I can't do that. I have to make them the same, otherwise I'm going to get too much criticism. And then my bottoms are Evermore and Levee Breaks.
Okay. And my top is Stairway. My bottom is Four Sticks. That was pretty clear from the scoring. And I would put
Pretty
Black
basic.
Dog way up there as well. I mean, it seems pretty clear those are the two highs.
For sure.
Yep. All right. So now we're up to our final thoughts on Led Zeppelin's 4. Kyle?
Still holds up. I mean, this is just still a great album. I don't know that it's my favorite Led Zeppelin album. I feel like I like 2 better. I feel like 2 is maybe more solid and rocky throughout. But this is still really, really good stuff. And I think that this is going to hold up. And not just because Stairway to Heaven is on here, but there's really a lot of good tunes. I mean, Black Dog is a banger. Rock and Roll is great. Going to California. I mean, these are just really good songs. This has been around for 55 years and has been this well recognized for a reason. So I think it's going to stay like this.
I think for me, I'll reiterate, like, music is just so personal. And so no matter how many times, and I tried to listen to this album a lot. I probably ended up listening to it 15 to 20 times by the time we were done. And no matter how many times I listened, like, it just, it lands where it lands, and you can't force yourself to like something more or like something like it just kind of, I think it's like intrinsic, how you feel about, you can't force yourself to like something, I don't know where like your behavior around music comes from. I mean, it must be like what you're exposed to as a kid and kind of like what you're listening to growing up that feeds into that. But you like what you like, and that just, this kind of like, yeah, I recognize it as a great album, and I know that people love it, and I was okay. I appreciated the experiment.
Yeah, I still love this album. I don't know if it's officially my favorite Led Zeppelin album. They're an artist that I'm happy to just do, like, just jump around from song to song. I don't necessarily need to listen to each album, front to back. I think Houses of the Holy is a great album. Physical Graffiti 2 I happen to like a lot as well. Like, they've got a number of amazing songs. But the concentration of good songs here is pretty high. Like I said, 7 of these songs were on a greatest hits package. So this is a legendary album. It will remain as such forever, regardless of whatever we say about it. But I think this still, it just speaks to me. There's something about this music, classic rock, and this kind of epic, earth-shattering kind of sound of, the thunder of gods, that these guys embody, that they are still the godfathers of this kind of music. and I keep waiting. Like, when's the next Led Zeppelin gonna come along that can take this and run with it? I've heard there's guys that try to do this. There's like Mastodon and like artists like that, but yeah, man, these guys. This is immortal stuff. So, all right.
Ratings.
Oh yeah,
the final scores. So yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
All right, so I'm going to write your guys' down while you say it, and I'll give you a total. So mine came out at 88.5.
75.6.
And I'm at 83.
That was a 40
my force,
you down.
It did. As much as the 100 for Stairway put it up, that was just...
Do you regret that, though?
No, I don't. I hate that song. I don't like it.
Kyle, are you keeping track of all of our albums from now on?
I do, and the total average for this album is 82.4.
Is that our highest yet?
No, they're all hovering in that general range, though, so far.
Yeah.
It's interesting. All right, so we've done our deep dive into Led Zeppelin's 4, and that means it's time to look at what is next up on the horizon. So, Amy, you have the next pick. Tell us what our homework is for next time.
All right, so the album that I've picked is one from 2008. It's heavy on production. It's strong melodies. It's soulful rock. Great raspy vocals. It's a sophomore album. I think it's stronger than the first. You're making a face.
I'm trying to guess in my head what it is.
I think
Me too.
like half of the tracks are like A+ songs. So it's going to be really fun to like have you guys give your ratings, because I think that like half this album is like sick, strong, like amazingness. Does anyone want to guess before I throw it out there?
I have no idea based on the year.
No fucking clue.
No fucking clue. And I don't think
you said
Kyle's-
2008.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think Kyle's going to know what I'm about to say. Doug will know it, but he's not going to know every track. This is an album called Songs for You, Truths for Me by James Morrison. He's an English artist, and he's fucking fantastic.
Not to be confused, of course, with Jim Morrison of The Doors.
No.
No.
So that is your homework. Does anybody
is.
have any... I don't need to hear thoughts. I'm just curious if Kyle, if you even know who this is.
I feel like I've heard the name because you have mentioned it. It's probably one of your singer-songwriter people. So, but yeah, I probably don't know any of this.
Yeah.
I've heard many songs by him in your car. I have no idea if they're from this album or not, but I'm guessing they are.
Yeah. The first album is super singer-songwriting. This one is more produced and more interesting, and I'm curious to see what you guys think of it.
Cool.
All right, we got our homework cut out for us.
Yep. All right, time for plugs and admin stuff. First, Kyle, if people want to find your music, where do they go?
Yeah, they can go anywhere. You want to go to Spotify, you can go to Amazon, you can go to iTunes. Kyle and the Silver Dork. My first album is already out there. Second one should be out in September, so you were probably going to be hearing about it, or it's already out right now when you're listening to this.
And Amy, how about your cool earrings?
Yeah, so if you want stylish, affordable earrings, you can find me on Etsy, TikTok, Instagram under Momo Bunniesmore Co.
And as for me, I am, as we've mentioned, I host another podcast called Nostalgium Arcanum, which, of course, these two have been on many, many times. And we cover all kinds of pop culture, so it's not just music, it's movies, TV, video games, stand-up comedians, and any pop culture thing that the guest wants to talk about, we cover. So go find that. If you want to get in touch with us, the links to our social media portals are there in the show notes. So we'd love to hear from you and hear what you think about these albums as we go. And, of course, if you have time, do drop this podcast, and really any podcast you like, drop it a review wherever you found it, because that helps spread the word about the podcast's existence to new listeners, as does word of mouth, which we also, of course, very much appreciate. So I think that'll do it on this one. We're going to go wind on down the road. I don't have a good sign-up, and we still haven't standardized one, but everybody, good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Good night.